Hey, good evening. Had to mute my feedback there. I forgot to do that beforehand. I do that sometimes and then I click the button and all of a sudden I hear all this background noise. I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world? Oh, I hope you've had a great day. We have had some rain here along the Gulf Coast in the Mobile or lower Alabama area. If you don't know where Mobile, Alabama is, we are in the lower part of the state of Alabama, right on the Gulf of Mexico. Let's see here. What has been going on? Well, gosh, I hope you had a good 4th of July. That was last weekend. So I feel like I haven't been on with a live in a little while. It's kind of crazy how that works when you take a little time off, enjoy being with the family and getting a little rest and relaxation. And then all of a sudden you kind of get back in the swing of things and you feel like, wow, it feels like 2 months since the last time I did this. And it really hasn't been. It's only been 2 weeks, but I've been trying to catch up on some things. I have done some cleanup on the website around my shop and stuff. So if you check out the online shop or the website at quiltedtreasuresandmore.com, so it's all spelled out. If you will visit over there and just look around at some of the cleanup I've done. Makes it sound like I want you to pat me on the back, doesn't it? No, I'm just kidding. But I have done some cleanup and working on that the last 2 weeks and trying to get inventory updated there. So there's always something in the tech world. Hey, Miss Terry. So glad you could jump on here and hang out with me I started to say this evening. I'm so used to being earlier. And we've had some things change on our Sunday evenings. So I am now doing the nighttime thing. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Let's see what else. The t-shirt drop and the tumbler drop. It's a double drop weekend that's been going on around the crafting table. One of the things I've also, like I said, been doing cleanup on the website. Also, getting some orders taken and, getting those out there. So, been a little busy. Usually, July is a very quiet month in the world of crafting, but and painting and all that good stuff. But it has been. I'll say consistent. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say busy because that's usually my description of October, November, and the first part of December. But the double drop for the t-shirt and the tumbler, that is through tonight. And so that's available. You can either message me or scroll back through the post and check out all the information for that. Other than that, what else has been going on? Well, let's see. I'm, of course, going through all the stuff and looking at fall things. So we're going to be getting into more fall stuff. I have, you may be noticing, that looks like skulls. It is. I have a trick or treat one here, and you may be thinking, boy, you're jumping way ahead. Well, yes and no. If you think about it, it'll be here before we know it. I mean, where did the month of June go, right? I looked at the calendar the other day and I was like, really? It's the 7th of July and now here we are in the double digits in July. I'm like, it'll be October before I'm even ready for it. So I'm like, you know what? I am going to go ahead and jump into the fall stuff, and I'm going to start with the trick or treat. I do have a opportunity to set up and have a booth here in the near future, and so I am going to take a little bit of fall and a little bit of trick or treat stuff. So I'm going to do a trick or treat one tonight, but fall stuff will be coming, and then it won't be very long and I'll be into all the Christmas stuff. So we'll get to play with Christmas stuff here in the new future. Night is good for you. I have this thing where I'm a night person anyway. I kind of amp up in the night hours and I kind of do things really well. And well, I say that until about 10:30 or 11. I used to could go a lot longer, but I'm discovering that it's not quite as long as it used to be. So, but I still kind of amp up and do things a little more in the nighttime than I do. I'm definitely not a morning person. So if it requires a lot of thought process in the early morning, I'm going to need a lot of coffee and I'm probably going to have to redo it, whatever it is I do. So needless to say, I try not to do book work as far as checking or savings or anything like that in the morning time. So all right, well, I'm going to jump on my little trick or treat friend here. And I'm going to start with the white. And I've already base coated it. It looks a little rough. I didn't put a lot of base coat on this one. And I could have actually just left this part plain because I'm going to do it black. Now, if you've seen the candy corn one that I did, or even if you've seen the other skull ones that I've done in the past, I did it purple. So, but I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one black. Whoops, wrong view. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. That way you can see what, I had this problem the last time I was on. My stand kept wanting to, my camera mount kept wanting to like sync on me. So I don't know what's going on. It's trying to do it again. I'm going to have to keep a close eye on it. I don't know if I've worn it out or just what. So I don't know, but we're going to work with it. Purple is your favorite color. Ooh, I did the background of the candy corn one and the other skull one purple. Now I will have some purple in this one, so I'm not getting rid of the purple, but I am going to do this one in black just to be a little different from what I've done in the past. So let's see here. I am going to get this brush and I am just gonna, this is just a flat tip brush. I'm just gonna add some more white to the skulls and get them darkened up a little bit. And then I'm gonna move to probably the gray or the silver next. And what I'm thinking, because I've done gray on the skulls in the past, like in the eyes and the nose and the teeth area. But what I was thinking about doing is actually incorporating a little bit of silver just to give it a little bit of a shimmer or a shine. Just a little bit different than what I've done in the past. So may incorporate that in. May also add some shading to the skulls this time. I haven't done that in the past. We actually did this one at a fall paint party last year. It was funny because this is actually, if you've seen the candy corn one, this is actually the candy corn one turned the opposite direction. And then I just kind of transformed, I know that's going to sound weird, transformed the candy corn into skulls. So there's your little insider info for the evening. I was changing up the design a little bit. Some people call it Frankensteining the design, modifying. Well, I don't know about modifying because I didn't really keep the candy corn in any way. But I kind of like doing that. I like being able to change things up and do things a little different from time to time. And do I make my own designs? Sometimes. A lot of what I get is from the template club, which I'm a part of. And so I have built my library with the template club, but I have designed a number of door hangers for folks, just things that they wanted in particular. And it wasn't necessarily out there in a design. And so I have done some designs. I would like to do more of my own. Not that I don't want to keep doing, designs from others out there, because there are a lot of very talented designers out there. And I like getting the variation, because if it was all me, then it might start to look similar. So I like to have some variation and be able to offer some variety. Never seen the skulls painted. Oh, you've never seen any designs with skulls? I've seen a few, but they're more like what they call the sugar skulls, I think. And it's more along the lines of the holiday in November, the day where they honor the dead, the Day of the Dead, or that sounds more like a scary movie. I don't think that's actually it, is it? I don't know. Now I'll have to go look that up. But anyway, oh goodness. I really will have to go look that up, because now I'll be like, oh my gosh, what did I say? Oh, but I don't think I'd ever really done any skulls either until this one came up. I think this is the first one. I just realized I have completely locked myself out of a plug-in for my for my dryer. It's okay. Hey, we will just rock and roll and move along. I'll get some gray in here and we'll do our gray next. I'm going to go with a darker gray for the eyes. And I think I'm going to work my way down a little bit in shades. So I'm going to start with one for the eyes. Uh-oh. See if I can get this out of there without. Nope. I managed to drop just a little piece of gray, dried gray. Oh, now I'm just going to paint it. Well, you know what? That's going to end up gray in the end, so I'm not going to sweat that. I am not going to sweat that. Oh, you've got Procreate. Oh, I like Procreate. I have done a few things in Procreate, but I really need, Miss Tamara has a class on Procreate, and I really need to get her class. I actually have a lettering class that I purchased from another lady who's very, very good at Procreate. And I started and got really, really busy last fall, and I have yet to go back to it. I need to, otherwise it may lock me out. I may have to pay for it again. Don't sweat the small stuff. Exactly. Exactly. Don't sweat the small stuff. I normally keep my dryer plugged in, and I know what was going on. I was working on something else, and I unplugged the dryer to plug in for more other things, you know. You know how that goes. And I did not plug the dryer back in. So when I grabbed it, I was like, oh, it's unplugged. But then when I looked up, I've still got stuff plugged in everywhere over here. So I'm like, well, it's okay. We will work around it. This is a darker color. This is actually called, which color did I pull here? I pulled zinc. This one actually almost looks like it has almost a silver tint to it. But I'm still going to do just a little bit of the metallic silver, which kind of comes out a little thin. And so it may be a little sheer over, over part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the nose in the darker zinc color as well. I love doing the candy corn one. This one's probably, as far as door hangers that are pretty uh, simple as far as color choices, this is probably one of the ones that I can work through quickly, just because it doesn't have a lot of variation in color. But I will say this. I have not done polka dots on this particular one. And I'm going to do polka dots on this one tonight. So that's going to add a little more to it and add a little more time. Also, I want to get some shading done on the skulls that I have not done in the past. I've always just painted the skulls, but white. But I want to add in a little bit of shading. See if I can make them look maybe a little old, maybe a little maybe aged, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I mean, it is a Halloween door hanger. I guess I could say, look like we just dug them up, but I don't know. Maybe that's not exactly a good thing to say. So we're gonna add a little. I think I'm gonna do a little shading with a little bit of brown, and see how that turns out. I think I have shaded with just a little bit of gray in the past, but I thought, well, since I'm doing all the gray with the darker portions of the skulls, maybe if I did a little bit of brown in there, then it would just give it a nice aged look to it. Change it up a little bit. All right, I gotta move my paints. Got some paints off to the side. I gotta move them out of my way. That way I can get to the teeth. Now the teeth, I'll end up going around all of this with black, so I'm not too worried about, keeping it right in the lines. As far as, I mean, I'm going over, the main part of the line, so that way I know the center part is covered well. But as far as making sure that I'm super, super neat, I'm not really worried about that a whole lot, because I'm going to go over it with the black and clean up the edges, and it'll give it that little bit of a darker look and a little more definition as we get further along. So next week I will have something fall to paint, because I'm going to jump in and the mad face by accident. That's funny. That actually happened. I'm trying to think. I think it was just a post, maybe, that was made. And actually, one of the uh, one of the kids in my family uh, had the phone and was punching buttons and ended up sending a mad face. And it was kind of crazy because we were like, why did they get mad about that? But then we found out later, no, it really wasn't them. It was the kid who had the phone, and they were the ones sending the mad face, which was too funny. Okay, so I've got the dark gray, the zinc on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna experiment a little bit here, because that's part of the fun of being crafty and painting, and you experiment a little bit and see what maybe does and maybe doesn't. Sometimes you can paint over it, and sometimes you have to sand over it and start all over. All right, let's see how this is gonna look. I don't want to put a heavy coat. That may be a little heavier than what I intended. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably more like what I wanted. That's okay. I can always come back over that with a little. Not quite as much on the nose. See how that looks? Oh, it's kind of whiting it out. Trying not to make it white out so much. And I know it just has to do with the shimmer of the silver. And actually, with something like this, everything doesn't have to be consistent. I know that sounds a little weird, but when you've got, for me anyway, when you've got a door hanger that is kind of not what you would call your I don't want to say not pretty decor, but not your normal decor. That's the word I'm looking for. Not your normal decor. Then you can kind of do some things that are a little bit off and not consistent. And it actually, sometimes, not all the time, comes off pretty cool. So I don't think I'm going to do it in the teeth. I think I'm just going to let that be just the eyes and the nose. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so now that I've got this done, what I want to do, I'm going to take, you know what, I didn't pull my brown ahead of time. Let's see what brown, honey brown. I think yeah, let's do some honey brown. And I may even soften that up a little bit with a little bit of white. Let me see how that turns out. We may soften that up a little bit. Let's see here. So I'm going to get just a little bit of white and just come here on the edge and give just a little bit of white just to freshen it up a little. And then I'm just going to, let's see if I can stretch it out. Yeah, I need a little less honey brown and a little more white. Yeah. Just take our white and go back over. I do this on things with like baseball or softball. I've got some baseball and softball door hangers that I do. And so I put on home plate, I do the dirt. And so I like to do this shading with the honey brown and make it look like it's had the dirt brushed off of it. It's the lighting. They all look a different shade. Oh, I'm hoping that works whenever you've got it hanging on a door, that, the light will catch it and make it a different shade. I think that will look pretty cool. So I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm just going to do a couple of little places and just kind of make it look like it's had some dirt, been dug up out of the dirt. So it'll be a different look from what I've done in the past. So. Now that one I ended up going, I got I think a little too much white. So I think I'm gonna come back with just a little more honey brown. And then I'm just going to do a little bit right here. Try not to do too much because I don't want it to be too dark. But I've also discovered sometimes when I think, oh, that's too dark, then when I get to doing my outlining, I discover, oh, the outlining just kind of hit it, and now you can't see it at all. So I've learned to come back if I need to and lighten it up later on, rather than get too fussy about it when I'm actually doing this part of the shading or making it have the dirt look to it. Let me let that one be just a little bit lighter. And that's another cool thing I found, that when I'm doing shading, sometimes I can take the brush right after I've finished one section and have a little bit of a different look to another section, because I didn't even add anything to the brush. I just dropped down and used what was left over. That's pretty crazy looking. That's wild. I wasn't real sure how that was going to turn out, but that's pretty wild looking. I do have a little bit right here that I want to do something different with. Let me see here. What did I do? Oh, another thing I did, and I may regret having done this now. Another thing I did was clean up my craft table. And I just realized I don't know where I put my baby wipes at. That's just wonderful. It's okay. So if you've just tuned in, what's going on around the crafting table is a little bit of chaos. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. Sometimes there's nothing but chaos, but that's not just around the crafting table at my house. We all have that, though, right? We all have those days. Okay, I am not going to do any outlining on this yet. I'm going to work on the background for this one. and I am going to come back and do the outlining later on when I'm outlining the rest of this. So let us get our brush. And start adding the black, which, like I said, I normally do this in a dark purple color. And I usually use, what is that purple that I use? It's a really dark purple. I think it starts with a D. I can't remember the name of it exactly. Another thing that's got me going in, oh, thank you, Terry. I think the skulls turned out pretty interesting looking. It's going to be different from the other one I did, which is kind of neat because I don't mind doing, like the cookie cutter type stuff where I do the same thing over and over again. But a lot of times if I do one way, I'll try to change up if I get to do another one. If it's not, specifically ordered the way that I did it, I'll try to change up and do maybe a second version. Because I think a lot of times people look at door hangers and think, oh, well, they painted it this. If they had painted it that, well, sometimes you just got to say, hey, does it come in a different color? Because maybe I didn't think about that color when I was painting it. I didn't think about it. I could have done kind of a distressed look on this too. I hadn't really thought about that. That might be. I'm going to keep going and I'll be here half the night trying to get this door hanger done because I keep coming up with ideas. I don't know if that's the blessing or the cursing of a crafty brain. I guess it depends on what the outcome is. If if you thought something was going to take you 2 hours to do and it ends up taking 15, then maybe that, all those ideas are not such a blessing. But then I guess you look at it too from the standpoint of, well, did it turn out exactly the way you planned it? And if it was success in that aspect, then, if it took 15 hours, oh, well, you got what you wanted or you produced what you needed to produce and it turned out great. I guess for me, the aggravation is when you go through all these different things. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. And then you try one or two things, you get frustrated, and then you end up doing exactly what you had the very first time. But you just had to change it 4 times to get it back to what you had the first time. If that made sense. Okay, so that's covered in all black. You just have to paint more with the different ideas. That's funny. Yeah, there are some times around my house that there are a number of door hangers, and so it becomes this. Okay, how many more are these leaving or are these staying? So I don't know, I would love to do all my ideas, but then I wouldn't have any place left to live, I don't think. Okay, I'm going to do something weird. This has been the night of weird stuff. I guess because it's a Halloween thing. I don't know. I'm going to try something real quick. Now, if you've seen me do the weathered board technique or the faux shiplap technique, I do with a baby wipe and paint. And that's a strong baby wipe. My goodness. Woo. And so I'm going to, I'm just going to play with something here. And I may not like it, and I may decide, nope, that's not it, and we're just going to paint over it. We're just having a creative night here around the crafting table. So. So all I'm doing is just, I'm wiping off what I dip it, but then I wipe off a lot of it. And so I'm just kind of streaking a little bit. And then if I need to thin it out even more, what I'm doing is coming back with a part of the baby wipe that I haven't used yet and going over it to thin it out or stretch it out, one of the two. So that's going to be interesting. This one's going to be very different from the last one. All right, now, and I told you I was going to do polka dots, so we're going to throw some polka dots in there just to see how that looks. We may not keep the polka dots, but we'll see. All right, so I had started, and you know what? I had picked a big, huge polka dot sponge pouncer, but I think what I'm going to do is I am going to get a little one and just add a few here and there. Not where they really stand out big time. But where they just kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of look like bubbles. So let's see how this goes. Oops, I didn't even have that on camera. All right, so I just push down and twist and then pick straight up. All right, now for this one, I know y'all probably gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna wipe off where it is in my letter. And the reason being is when I come back in a little bit and go to create my letters, I don't really want to have to fight with two different colors. I'm already going to have an interesting time with covering the black, but I think I know how I'm going to do that. I'm also not really following a typical pattern on the polka dots. Normally, I kind of space mine out a little more evenly and try to make sure that they're like triangle. Also on my purple one, especially with the candy corn, I did a spider web. I wish I could take credit for that idea. I actually got that from somebody in one of the groups I'm in actually posted that. And I was like, oh, wow, I like that. So I did, almost looks like it has the measles now. Or the mumps or something. Okay. Also, another reason why I didn't want to go too heavy on the letters was so that I could come back and start working on my letters pretty quick. So, okay, I'm going to turn this sideways. Start from the middle. And what I'm doing, I am actually going to go over this in white. These are not going to be white letters. I'm actually going to use a neon yellow for this one. So it's going to have some, or you know what? Oh, I just had an even better idea. Because I've got purple and I've got some really cool, oh, a coffin. Oh, I just saw where you put that, Terry. Oh, I could have, man. Well, gosh, now Terry says I got to do another one. Just so I can do her coffin idea. Anyway, I think I've got neon orange over here, and I think I'm going to do this in neon orange. Yeah, this one's kind of changed up a little bit since I, pulled the paints and stuff up for it, so that's okay. This is what happens in the world of creativity, where we let our imaginations kind of take over, and sometimes we're, amazed at what our imagination comes out of our imaginations, and then sometimes we look at it and go, oh boy. But I want to lessen the black, and so I could have also used gray and gone over the black, or I could have used buttermilk. Buttermilk is another color that I use from time to time to cover up darker colors before I put a lighter color on it. This is the buttermilk color. So I could have also added a little bit of that too. It could have been another option would be to paint the skulls in a buttermilk color and then do a darker brown for the dirt color. That would have been another option too. And I may not go back and clean up my letters so much on this one. And part of me is going, oh, yes, you are. Because part of me is like, no, we need to be nice and neat in our lettering. But with this being a Halloween one and it has skulls on it, I'm like, we might could leave this one just a little bit on the sloppy side. But I do like my, I think I'm going to go with the orange because the ribbon that I like to use on the Halloween door hangers. I've got some purple and I've got orange and I've got one that has purple and orange stripes with some black stripes, I think. And so of course I do have some black and white ribbon polka dots. And so I could change up and just use that and go with a darker colors for this one. We shall see. This one has become an interesting one for the evening. I started out going one direction and I have ended up totally off in another direction with this one. So we'll see how it ends up. You mentioned a coffin, leaving the letters as a very, I don't want to call it messy. I mean, to me, it is messy. I'm like, no, it needs to have another coat because it's not smooth enough. But you could leave the letters like that if you were doing what you mentioned earlier with the coffin look. You could leave the letters very rough. That's the word I'm looking for. Very rough. Sloppy would look like a raw font. Yeah. You like to use buttermilk a lot. I do too. I like, especially in the fall, I like having buttermilk on things instead of white. To me, the buttermilk just works better with a lot of the fall colors, the darker shades of red, and the purples and the darker yellows. I just like the way the buttermilk looks with that. So I've done lettering in buttermilk on fall door hangers before because I like the way it looks. I hope I didn't use up all my neon orange. I'm going to be upset if I pull my turntable around over here and I don't have any more neon orange. I'm trying to think of what all I used it on last year, because that's not really a color that I have used since last fall. And so I'm like, oh man, did I replenish it, or do I still have that color? Yeah, as you can tell, this was not where this was going to go tonight. I had all my colors picked out and, but that's okay. Who knows? This wild and crazy trip may be the one thing that somebody was just looking for their Halloween decorations this year. All right, so I'm almost wrapped up. I'm going to have to look for that neon orange. I remember getting neon. Oh, I know what I used neon orange for. It wasn't, I may have incorporated it into some fall stuff, but I actually used it on the summer beach ball stuff. So. You're loving it. Oh, thank you. Do you decorate a lot for fall or Halloween? I'm gonna be real honest. I have my Halloween cotton candy. Oh boy. Candy corn door hanger that I put up, that I made for myself. That goes up right before Halloween. And then fall, I have, I have multiple door hangers and I just kind of rotate them around. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just kind of the way it works. Okay, let's see. There's bright orange. That might work. I thought oh. Nope, that's not it. Oh, did I use all my neon orange? Oh, not good. Well, you know what? Let's see what we can do. This has been one of those nights. We're just going to, too bad this wasn't a Frankenstein door hanger, because I kind of feel like I'm, the mad scientist here doing all this, let's just mix this and throw this in there. Either that or I'm making a big pot of gumbo for those in Louisiana. Actually, those two kind of look a lot alike, so it may be that they just kind of work. All right, we're going to jump in here and see. Just pull out a few things for fall and Halloween. Yep. Go all out for Christmas. There you go. That's me. I, drag out the ladder, put things up on the roof. Well, not on the top of the roof, but on the edge, the lights and stuff. So Christmas is my big decorating time of year. I would love to go all out for fall. I don't know. It's just, I guess because just the way school goes, with my daughter and stuff, you get into school and you're doing school stuff and to me, it just seems like you've got so much going on and when you hit October, there's festivals and stuff going on left and right. And you've got Halloween stuff and then Thanksgiving and all that. Let's see here. Ooh. Okay, well, it's not my bright neon orange, but I'll take it. It has a trick or treat feel to me. Another thing I just thought of, I have the neon yellow over here. I'm not going to do it now, but if I had thought about it before I started putting the white on the letters, I could have taken and splattered some of the neon yellow. Ooh, I could still dot it in some of the purple polka dots, though. Add little dots in the dots. I'll have to do more than one coat of the orange. Just to make it really pop good. But I am still considering not doing a major cleanup on these letters and just letting them be very rough and raw, like you were saying. Trick or treat. I could do the or in the bright. I'll think about that. I'll go ahead and do treat. I'll think about doing or in neon yellow. I was trying to think of what. Oh, well, I do have the neon green. I could do the green on the or and then add some of the crazy neon yellow polka dots. Neat and different. You mean the little polka dots? I mean, you do that. It'd be like double polka dots almost. And all I would do would be, I wouldn't pull a sponge bouncer. I'd just use the end of the handle end of the brush and just touch some into the purple. So you'd be like double polka dotting. The polka dots would have polka dots. Which kind of reminds me of a book about spots having spots. that I read or was read to when I was little. All right, so we're almost done with our trick and treat words. And I really am thinking I may pull that green and do the word or in green. See, when I started, this one was so simple. Just paint it black, do the words neon yellow, and paint the skulls. And now it has, morphed into this crazy creation. When I do things like this, I really have to catch pictures, make sure I keep pictures, because I'll have somebody buy it somewhere, and then somebody will either see it or they'll ask me, "Hey, have you ever done such and such?" And I'll pull the picture out and show them. And it's like, if I hadn't had the picture, well, number one, they wouldn't have known it existed. But number two, I wouldn't remember how to recreate this. I would forget all the craziness I did, because when I started this was not how this was going to go. Okay, so the lettering's a little rough. You can see through it a little bit, but I'm going to go over it again, so we'll get some of that taken care of. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and use, nope, that's my yellow. I need my green. Ah, there you are. I'm going to put the green on the word. And then I'm going to use the yellow for man, we are hitting all the Halloween colors on this one. I mean, I've got ribbon that this will match this to a T. People are going to think, man, you bought all that ribbon just to go with that. No, actually, I had the ribbon. It just all worked out that way. It's kind of like when you buy a pair of shoes and then some time may pass and then all of a sudden you find an outfit and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got shoes that will match that perfectly. Or vice versa. I've had it happen both ways. The green pop. Yeah, up against the black, yes, the green does pop. If I was good at doing the drip effect, I think that would be really cool to have some of the letters look like they're melting. The measles. Yeah, it does kind of look like it has the measles. Okay, so here comes the neon yellow. So we're just going to put a little there. And I am just, you know what? Just before I do that, real quick, there's a few of these that I have just a little bit of black showing through. So I'm going to touch them up real quick. And there. right there. Okay. All right, now at the end. Oh, I don't know. That still may be too big. No, maybe not. So I don't want all of them to be the same size. And maybe not all of them to have. The same pattern, so to speak. Maybe just a little more there. Okay. Nope, I forgot one. Oh, wow. I don't know if these polka dots actually show up that well on camera or not. Let's see. I'll pick it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to outline the skulls. And let's see. Let me grab. Where's my favorite one? Where are you, favorite brush? Nope, that's not it. Ah, here we go. I have certain brushes that I love, and I use them over and over and over. Another really cool thing on something like this would be the glow-in-the-dark paint. That's one thing I've not purchased is any glow-in-the-dark paint. But this would have been really cool with glow-in-the-dark paint. And with glow-in-the-dark paint, yes, I would probably be the weird person that actually had it on their door the night of Halloween. Don't know if I would have it on there all of October, but I would definitely have it on there on the night of Halloween. Just because it glows in the dark. I'm hoping the black paint will help the silver and the dark gray kind of pop out a little more. It looks like it, but sometimes it's hard to tell when you're right up on top of your workspace. I have not purchase any of the glow-in-the-dark paint. I've seen people use glow-in-the-dark paint, but on door hangers and various things, but I have not used any of the glow-in-the-dark paint. But I think it would be cool on like this one. Almost out of black paint in this bottle. Let's see. I can't get some more. Good. I was like, I may not get any more out of this one. Yes, it still has some life left in it. All right, let's see. Go around his mouth. Sometimes with smaller spaces like this, I'll use like around around all these little, the grin, I guess. I have used a paint pen so that it's a little easier to control. Also goes a little faster. Now, I didn't go back over this in this area, but I think it's pretty cool. This one, there's some places where I think it looks cool just to leave it with that not quite finished look, because it gives it a little more of a rustic is not really the word I'm looking for on this, but okay, so there is our skeleton number 1. Let's get skeleton number 2. So this week around the crafting table, like I said, I will be doing some planning for fall and getting some things lined up for painting fall stuff. Also got a little show coming up. It's not a big show like what I do a couple of times a year. This one just going to be a little small setup. I call it a show. It's not really a show. It's just a setup. Set up a tent and let folks know you're out. See who stops by and says hi. But I won't be the only one, so. Let's see if we can get around this curve. No, I thought I could make it all the way around. Now I just got to make sure not to put my hand in the middle of the of what I just painted. Because I went all the way around it before I did the grin. Majorly concentrating. It's so funny. Sometimes I'll realize, oh, I haven't said anything in a few seconds. And it's like, it's because you're concentrating on getting around this without messing things up too terribly. All right, final one. And then I'll decide on what other little highlights and stuff I'll be adding. Probably will go add some, of course, I'll add some white to the black part, highlights and stuff. I do have to go over the words again, so, but I may wait till tomorrow and go over those again. I have one brush that is just a fuzz smaller than this one, and I keep thinking I should have used that brush, but then I get to the eyes and it's the perfect size, so, well. All right, all getting closer and closer. Finish out the eyeball. And now to get the teeth done, or the grin. And I'm not sure I'm going to put any, I think I put highlights in the eyes of the last one I did, but because I used silver on this one, I don't think I'm going to do any white highlights in the eyes, because I really don't want to take away from the silver being able to catch the light. And yes, the black does make the eyes look sunken in. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to go back to my bigger brush and get some white. So now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and a lot of times I'll do this with paint pen, but I'm going to do this with a brush this time. And the reason being is that I can actually drag it until the paint is thinned out and still have that look like what I did with the baby wipe. So I think I'm just going to do that with this. and just kind of keep that same look going. Turn it around so that way I'll be on camera. All right. Now I may add just a few little places on my little polka dots here. I'm not going to make them very bold, just some small little glints. The polka dots is so funny because I look at it one way and I'm like, oh, polka dots. And then I look at it another way and I'm like, oh, you know what? I could have added legs to that and made them little spiders. That would have been something else, you know, one more idea. Okay. We're gonna call this one. I have added to this one so many different ways. We're just gonna call this one. All right, I'm gonna turn it that way just for a few seconds and let the camera get it from that direction. And then I'm gonna turn it back around this way, and that way everybody can see it from this direction. I'm going to go back and darken up the letters a little bit. I like to have them nice and bold whenever I get through, but there is our spooky skeleton for Halloween. So we will probably add a bow to this one in the next couple of days once I get it seal coated, and I'll post some final pictures of it here in the days to come. This one was just kind of crazy, and I know it's really bizarre because I've seen on some of the groups that I'm in, they're already doing Halloween stuff, and so Halloween has already been kind of floating around in my brain anyway. But I was actually going to do a fall one tonight, and then I thought, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and do this one and get this one out of the way, and then I'll do some fall stuff, and I'll wait until probably maybe the first part of September and do another Halloween one, but we'll see. Well, I hope y'all have a great week. Don't forget the t-shirt and tumbler drop ends at midnight tonight. So that's the life is better in flip-flops, which is kind of my motto. I mean, in the deep South, I can start wearing flip-flops in like February or March and go until sometimes November. So needless to say, I'm definitely a flip-flop gal. So I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, we have to have a shirt like that. So, well, I hope y'all have a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out our trick or treat. Very different door hanger than what I have done in the past. So this one was definitely made up on the fly, and I had a lot of fun with it, I have to say. So maybe we should do some other things just on the fly in the future. I don't know. That could be disastrous. So might end up in the blooper reel or the oh no kind of reel thing. So, well, have a great week, and thanks so much for watching.